So, good afternoon. Isn't the cloud supposed to make business easier? I think is a really, really good question. First of all, I'd like to say to those of you who are still in the room, thank you very much for staying the course. I will apologise now for my somewhat slightly croaky tones. I think from the coughing and spluttering, I may not be alone in this, but it's courtesy of the New Year flu. So I have had feedback that some people prefer me talking like this, but I can assure you this isn't my normal voice. So bear with me. Over the next 15 minutes, I'm going to take you on something of a whistle-stop tour, because I actually passionately believe that cloud is so much more than just a commodity. Of course, we understand the need to take cost out from our prospective organisations, and as IBM, we're not alone in that. But that's not the only purpose for cloud. The importance of cloud, as we've heard through some of the discussions that have taken place earlier today, is much more as an enabler. And in simple terms, it's really about what you use it for that is key to being able to make the right choices. So I thought a good way to bring this to life would be to actually share with you just a few of the highlights from a recent tech study survey that we did. It was at the end of last year. The study was called Raising the Game, and I think the title is extremely appropriate. It's the fourth study of its kind that we've done. It doesn't look at just cloud in isolation, but it looks at what we classify now as some of the new mainstream technologies, things that we know around big data and analytics, around mobile, social, as well as cloud. We surveyed over 1,400 decision makers across 15 industries in 13 countries, getting their perspective on how they're staying ahead when everybody else is jumping into the fray. Just picking on one of the highlights specifically around cloud, it shows amazingly how cloud has been adopted in the market. In 2013, worldwide spending on public cloud IT services was estimated at something like $47 billion. And we can see that surge and momentum has really continued through 2014. What's really evident is that people are no longer just dabbling with cloud. We refer to as it, they're now all in on cloud. So when we talk about cloud, what is it that we actually mean? And I think it's very important that we make some clear distinctions in terms of what cloud actually is. Let's come at it from a slightly different angle. What are you trying to do? What are the applications that sit on the cloud? Using the right type of cloud is really important, and it falls into, I think, three main categories. First of all, there's systems of record, which again we know as legacy systems, core systems, very much around back office. And yes, they do need to migrate to cloud, and some will, and some may never get to cloud. The second is systems of engagement. The digital era, including mobile, including social, much more around the front end, more volatile. And actually most of these apps are being bought on the cloud, not surprisingly, because most of them have been developed for and on the cloud. And then there's something really quite important, which is the systems of insight. It's about giving you the ability to act with insight rather than acting on instinct, by marrying them up with analytics. And they could all be on different clouds. So consideration needs to be given as to how you plug them together to maximize the potential and benefit and create the killer app around agility, not just cost takeout. Another aspect that was quite interesting from the study that we did in Raising the Game highlights that there are also three distinct characters in business, and you may well enjoy this. In fact, it may well resonate. So first of all, there's the dabblers. Well, what do you think they do? They're the folks who are into testing and get quite excited about some of the emerging technologies and essentially dabble, but essentially do very little with it. Then there's the followers, who agree in the technology, or challengers as we refer to them in this instance, who agree in the technology decisions but are quite slow to implement. And finally, there's the pace setters. And what puts the pace setters ahead of the followers was the fact that they were integrating across these new initiatives of mobile, of social, of big data and analytics, and cloud. And most importantly, rather than just boiling them onto the way they work, the pace setters are actually embedding them and integrating them within their business initiatives as part of the fabric of their DNA. The success that they achieved, the success that they achieved was actually quite surprising. Their growth rates were something like 2 times ahead of the others, and also their profitability was 2.5 times greater. We may ask, so what, given we're not so essentially driven by growth and by profit in terms of some of the public sector metrics. However, but if you flip back to the discussions we've had and the ambitions we've got for G-Cloud and look at some levers, then the desire to engage with SMEs would certainly be one of them. There's been lots of discussion around that during the course of today. Pace setters have a great propensity to collaborate outside of their transactional and traditional boundaries and supply chains. They actively work collaboratively with startups and with academia. And something which I think stands them out from the rest is that they actively work collaboratively with citizen developers as part of what they do. So for pace setters, integration is absolutely key. It's their breakaway move, as the study described it. And all are using cloud-based technologies in these digital environments, often cited as systems of engagement, and integrating that with the back office, no legacy systems, called systems of record, to create what is to be a seamless, agile, dynamic business that maxes on cloud, on virtualization, on standardization, on automation, to deliver consistency and IT thought leadership into the front end of the business, where the agility and the insights are really most needed. These new initiatives are really born on the cloud, yet the existing systems aren't. And they may indeed move to cloud, but as I've said previously, they may not. Indeed, they may not move, and it needs to be the right cloud in the event that they do move and when they move for the right purpose. IBM believes that all enterprises, including those in the public sector, will require a number of different types of cloud to fit the purpose. It will be the apps and the rules associated with them which will determine the cloud landscape. And each will need to be tuned and integrated to drive the optimum business value. So what I'd like to do now is try and bring this to life by illustrating some examples that come from our own sector. Let's start off with London South Bank University, who are transforming their student experience through personalised education to create an exceptional student experience. It's based on an integrated blend of analytics, mobile, social, and security solutions, running on a cloud infrastructure to monitor academic progress of individual students. The result is that they ensure each student who enrolls on a higher education course has the support they need to graduate and secure employment. It starts from the application process, goes throughout their student life, to graduation, and beyond. And as Phil Cardew, who is the Pro-Vice-Chancellor at LSBU, said, the key benefit of this change programme is that it will enable LSBU to identify students who require support to complete their studies and underpin our platform to enable repeatable, predictable, reliable and scalable technology-enabled learning for the students at the best value for money. Slightly further afield, a great example of how crowdsourcing can extend the reach of government services is in the city of Honolulu. I'm sure there'll be lots of volunteers to go and visit. Honolulu had a very similar aspiration to the UK government. They wanted to improve government transparency and efficiency, whilst also improving citizen experience and involvement. Through the cloud, the city opened up secure access to years' worth of municipal data and provided a development platform that allows citizens and partners to create and deploy new applications to improve the city's quality of life. The result is they have included a bus schedule that has real-time arrival data and an app that lets citizens report locations and share photos of broken street lights, of abandoned vehicles, and other local problems. This is a crowd-sourced approach which helps the city not only better engage its citizens, but also improve the efficiency of its own operations. And taking a quote from the Honolulu mayor, a gentleman called Peter Carlisle, our goal is to create Honolulu as the lean, clean, smart city of the future. Staying over in that part of the world for a moment, the California Department of Technology announced CalCloud, Californian Cloud. It's a new technology model powered by cloud computing to build and deliver some innovative government services and savings. It's available to all of the municipalities within the state and the local government agencies. And it's available on a subscription basis, going back to the conversation earlier around the pricing and the commercial constructs which can be on offer as part of these services. It's the first of its kind to be implemented in the United States at the state level. It provides next-generation tools that offer access to IT services at the rapid pace that customers are demanding, whilst also maximising the upfront capital investment as well as controlling some of the financial risks associated with providing such services. So instead of separate IT systems for each of the departments being built, the CalCloud service model allows government entities to share a common pool of computing capability, resource, and operate much more efficiently than they do today. Immediate access to modern back-end services frees up state departments to focus on the projects with direct impact on the public, so they're focusing on the right things. CalCloud is an important step towards providing faster and more cost-effective IT services to California State and ultimately to the citizens of California, said their Secretary of Government Operations. And now, finally, I'd like to come back a little bit closer to home. And I think Stuart made the comment earlier that, local government is, I'm going to say fairly backward in coming forward in terms of where it's at on cloud and its investment in cloud compared to central. And we heard from three of the local councils earlier. So here's a fourth, Sunderland. Sunderland City Council and IBM are working to provide a citywide cloud computing platform that will not only meet the council's own needs, but it will also stimulate economic growth for the benefit of the whole city, because it will reduce the technological investment barriers that are experienced by startups and local companies in the Sunderland region who wish to expand operations but just do not have the facility, the investment, the funds to do so. The cloud will provide a low-cost, accessible and secure platform for use across Sunderland. It will allow residents to access services and information in a much quicker and easier way, making the City Council more responsive. Businesses will benefit through the ability to increase capacity and capabilities without investing in new infrastructure, training, new personnel, i.e. tapping into skills that are already there, and no need to license on new software. It's expected that other companies and agencies in the public and public sector partners will also join. In the UK, I don't know how many of us know this, but in the UK, Sunderland has more technology startups than anywhere outside of London. The new cloud deployment will also address Sunderland's goal to become a national hub for the low-carbon economy, which will require a computing model which supports an ecosystem of companies and agencies in order to collaborate. So the City Council sees this as extremely significant. It's the foundation for deeper transformation, which they have initiated, by making available sophisticated but affordable capabilities such as channel shift to online self-service, fraud detection, and also process optimization. And it will also be used to enable innovative delivery models to be adopted. So I guess the question really now is, what do we learn from those stories? One factor is they all have cloud at their core, but actually it's really a composable environment, I'm going to say a bit like building a wall. At the bottom of the picture, working from the left to the right, you can see there are some legacy systems, some may be on-premise, some may be off-premise, and some might just be bare metal, where it's dedicated private cloud within a public cloud. We haven't actually spoken about what type of cloud it is, whether it's public, private, on-premise, off-premise. It's really the app that dictates the platform. Typically, when you put all of these apps together, what it defines is a hybrid cloud environment. A hybrid cloud that needs to be orchestrated, that has tethering between the different cloud environments, that allows different vendors to have their different capabilities brokered to create a simplified consumption model. All of that takes cost out, but the killer app is really the business agility that it affords. So when you put it all together, it's all about making the right cloud choices, and whether it's mobile, social, or analytics, it all needs to sit on a cloud workload, and it needs to be integrated. How it all fits together is what gives you the ultimate agility in a secure way to meet your needs. So IBM's role has really evolved quite significantly. We embrace the concept of G-Cloud, the rich portfolio of SMEs that it brings, but that alone doesn't generate a sustainable future. The key for the future is how we embrace the developer landscape and quickly adopt new ways of working that drive even more benefit per pound invested. Those developments should not be frozen in time. They need to be dynamic, they need to be agile, they need to be open, and they need to be evergreen.
Location, location,
Location!
here's the location that matters the most. Here, or here, or here. It's wherever this is. To get customers to come here and stay here, you're going to need an app that connects to all your systems, so they can bank, shop, do what they need to do. And you've got to do it fast, before the competition does.
It's tough out here!
You better be on the right cloud. Today there's a new way to work, and it's made with IBM.
Thank you for listening.